This is Matt from Play Unplugged, and I am here with Erik and Shane from Albino Dragon, who are just wrapping up, or I should say just wrapped up, their most successful Kickstarter to the tune of, how much, boys?
$589,660.
Almost $600,000. So we'll talk about that in just a second because we're really excited about that. But tell me a little bit about Albino Dragon.
Well, we started Albino Dragon last year. Basically, Shane and I met, almost 2 years ago?
Yeah,
through like a collaborative project that we wanted to work on. That never really went through, but I invited him to come work with me on another project, and we did a couple pieces of art together, and then it turned into a lot more pieces of art. And then we started talking, and Albino Dragon just came out of that. Since then, we've done 7 Kickstarters. So we've done Call of Cthulhu, the White Rabbit, the Synthesis deck, which is a cyberpunk deck. We just finished up the Name of the Wind deck. And then in games, we had Gene Grafter, Ace of Spies, Dragon Whisperer, and we've got another big one that we're going to be launching next year.
And to be clear, you guys, the decks you have put out are standard card decks, correct? They're not deck building or not card games, but they're standard card decks with appropriate artwork.
That's right.
Excellent. So let's talk about the Kickstarter. That's the big news. You guys just wrapped up about 5 minutes ago, and I've been stalking you for the last half hour.
He actually made a cameo. So
that's right. I was on that for just a second. So let's talk about the Kickstarter. What was your initial goal on this?
I think it was set for 10, right?
Yep, set for 10.
So 10,000 when you're working with the USPCC is just enough to cover about a 5,000 deck run. So you can expect to at least make your production costs, and anything extra beyond that you can recoup from shipping just by adding that to pledge levels.
Yeah, I actually target 2,500.
25?
Yeah, to take into account shipping and fees and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like our bare minimum.
Yeah.
So when did you guys know that this thing really had legs?
Okay, so when we first started the project, we really approached it the way Erik normally does and I normally do. We build it gradually because you're there to offer a product. A lot of people just start throwing stuff out and it turns into like a circus. There's a lot of Kickstarters you can kind of point at that they look like a storefront eventually. But we kind of picked a core thing. And then when Pat got some time and got involved, when was it, 2 weeks ago?
About 2 weeks, yeah.
We really figured out what his involvement level was going to be. And we just started structuring our time about him and how to maximize his involvement and about cool things that we could do to make what we were making better. And I think those are like the best kind of stretch goals to hit.
So how did you get a name like Patrick Rothfuss? How did you guys land that? Do you guys know him outside of this?
No,
we used to hang out all the time. No, there was a... I think our relationship with Patrick started with the Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
That's where he was first introduced to Shane's work through that deck, and he really liked the art. It was pretty much spot on for the kind of art that he likes, I guess. And we donated decks to World Builders, and they picked up some for their website, their Tinker Packs and stuff. And they've pretty much been the only organization that we've offered any kind of sale discount to. And we've basically been building that relationship, I guess, since Cthulhu.
Yeah. So when we finally, I think it was when White Rabbit was done. There were a couple people that really helped us out with Cthulhu, like Monty Cook from Numenera. He was really cool about giving us shout outs on Facebook and going on Kickstarter, backing the project. So we gave Monty a cameo in the deck. We actually made Monty Cook our March Hare in the White Rabbit.
Right.
And Pat had done the same thing, so I offered him a cameo as well and made him into our King of Hearts. And I guess he just really liked that image, he really liked the picture. And at some point in the middle of our Dragon Whisperer project, when we were talking about how many of those games would be picked up by World Builders, he said, what about a Name of the Wind deck? It was kind of it wasn't. I mean, we were talking about if he wants to buy some Dragon Whisperer stuff, but it really floored me because I know that he downplayed it, but I know there's a lot of people that approach him and stuff. And the fact that he was willing to work with me was probably the single most flattering thing that I've ever had happen. So
So, I know this may be a bit early. What's next? I mean, I know we just wrapped up 10 minutes ago. I know you guys just wrapped up 10 minutes ago. What's next in terms of the Kickstarter, the deck itself? Do you guys have an idea for what you want to do next? What you're going to roll out after this, or are we still, basking in the glory of this?
No, we're always about 4 projects behind of where we want to be. So yeah, there's stuff in the works.
Anything that you can talk about or want to talk about yet, or are we still too early for that?
We've got a game that we're actually we've got a prototype version out here that we'd like to show, and we're hoping to have a even more detailed prototype by Gen Con. But I think it's going to be one of those kind of flagship games for the company. So we're really excited about it. And we'll talk about it more like when it's a little bit more polished.
Sounds great. So let's talk about games for a second. You said you put out some games. You've got some successful Kickstarters behind you. Can you just give me a couple minutes on the games that you have?
Yeah, I'll let you go back.
Well, we have Ace of Spies, Gene Grafter, and Dragon Whisperer. Dragon Whisperer is currently in production. We're actually getting it made. So we just, in fact, got our hard proofs today, as well as the print proofs. Gene Grafter is kind of a fast-paced duel/dice game. The base game is kind of randomized and has a lot of random elements. It's good for kids, younger players. The advanced rules that we're testing now have a little bit more meaningful hand choices, a little bit more interaction. Ace of Spies is a set collecting game. It's kind of in the same vein as something like Ticket to Ride, where you're attempting to collect criteria to meet missions. Where it differs is that there's a level of play that allows you to directly manipulate your opponent's missions. So there's some really cool kind of undercutting that goes on. Both games have a pretty significant random element, which some people don't like, some people like. It really depends on your play style, but they were all designed to be really casual and easy to pick up, and we think they hit that space pretty well.
Well, guys, I wanted to say thanks for your time. Congratulations again. That's a phenomenal Kickstarter. I know I'm sure you have things to do and things to get to, but congrats again, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, man.